It's my distinct pleasure now to be joined by one of the stars of the Oscar-winning The Hurt Locker. Jeremy Renner, thanks for talking to DVD Outsider.
Thanks for having me.
Now, ever since I first saw you in North Country, you quickly defined for me the working actor. Someone who's dependably committed and equally measured in every role. Your presence in any movie is always a welcome one, and you're always looking to serve the film first and your own exposure second. Well, that quiet dedication has finally paid off with The Hurt Locker. You must have relished the chance to shoulder a movie.
Oh yeah, I couldn't have been luckier, really. I remember reading the script and wondering why Catherine wanted me to do that role, you know. I'm like, of course, I would sell her on the idea of like, of course you need me. But I'm like, I think any actor in Hollywood would love to have played that role. I mean, it was a wonderful gift that came my way. And you're right, yeah, relishing it every day.
I'm sure while making the film, you knew you were onto something special, but I'm sure that nobody on that set could have ever guessed the way it would connect with people.
Yeah, I think we got really lucky. Somehow, some way, people connected with it. And, you know, Catherine pulled together a really amazing 2-hour ride, you know, that we knew we had a good script, we knew we had good characters and a great director, but that doesn't mean anything. There's a lot of that out there. So, we got very lucky on people, and especially critics, really gave us a great boost.
How do you feel being forever associated now with the iconic role of Private James?
Yeah, I'm glad it's something I'm proud of, you know, and that's something a lot of times we as actors don't have any control of. And again, that's why I say I'm lucky, or just fortunate, or whatever it is, that you know, I'll be known for that, and I'm totally okay with that.
While you were denied Best Actor, and many would disagree with that decision, you nevertheless got to stand on stage with your brothers from the film, accepting the award for the Best Motion Picture. I mean, that is more exposure than a character actor like yourself could ever have hoped for or dreamed of. So, I mean, since then, has the phone been ringing off the hook with leading roles? I mean, how do you go about choosing material these days, being that you're getting so much more of it?
It's no different than any time before. For me, it's always, you know, obviously character is important to me, that it's, you know, three-dimensional, and, you know, and the script's got to be there, and who the director is, and who I get to learn from, essentially. It's who do I get to work with is the most exciting part, and that certainly is part of decision-making process on a job, is what actors do I get to learn from, and what, you know, I can't wait. So it doesn't change that at all now. I think the amount of scripts that come in are more, but I think still the ratio between like a really great script and then just stuff that's getting made is still the same. It's still a very low percentage.
Well, Hurt Locker was obviously a very grueling and demanding shoot, and of all those challenges, of which I'm sure there were too many to talk about, what was the toughest physically, being in those locations, and also mentally in terms of you know, your performance?
The most difficult, it wasn't the physical, because that, you know, it's 125 degrees for everybody, and the bomb suits, it's heavy and it's arduous, but I was excited to have that stuff. I didn't have to act that, you just react.
Yeah, it feeds what you do.
Yeah. So I think it was much more of a mental and spiritual challenges, overcoming. Just, again, the California kid being in the Middle East was a little strange at first. I had to kind of get used to the environment, and again, not the heat, but the community and what that's all about. So it was a big sort of jaw-dropping kind of experience for me, spiritually and mentally.
When you saw the finished film, was there any particular moment you were especially proud of, where you looked at it and you thought, yeah, we really nailed that?
No, yeah, I'm not one of those guys really nailing something. I look at stuff, they call it the cringe factor. When I watched the film for the first time, as long as I didn't see anything I cringed at, I'm like, okay, I'm okay with the movie. Then I have to watch it again to really start taking in the music and all the performances and the tone, the whole thing. So, yeah, I don't think I ever nail a scene. I think it's always a work in progress.
Were you familiar with Catherine Bigelow's work before, and if so, did you have a favorite?
Yeah. Well, she again was one of those main reasons why I had to do it. There was no question about it. And, you know, Point Break is the first film I saw of hers, and then I saw Strange Days, and those two are probably my favorite of hers. I like Point Break. I think the best. It's so iconic, you know.
Okay, well, with the way remakes are going, it seems that filmmakers are out to just rape my childhood. So Point Break will obviously get remade as well, I'm sure. So when they cast you, are you going to go for the role of Johnny Utah, a bank robbing ex-president, or Gary Busey?
Oh man! I would love to do the Johnny. I'll be Utah, man. Come on, that'd be awesome.
A key ingredient to the film's success and how it draws audiences in emotionally is not just the incredible action of the film, but also the camaraderie between the three guys in the bomb unit. Yesterday, you're racing Vespers around with your co-star Brian, so obviously that friendship has blossomed. Way beyond the film now. But what was it like when you first met the other two guys, and being that you're the one that's essentially got to be the antagonist?
You know, we all met. Well, I met Brian once or twice prior socially, and then I got to really know him on the movie. And Anthony Mackie I met in Middle East, and I think sort of even if we hated each other, we still would have gotten along because we had to. You know, it was but it just worked out that we ended up loving each other and getting along so well. It made the painstaking process of shooting that film a lot easier to handle because we had to lean on each other. We needed each other. And them as individuals as well as the actors. Because you have to endure a lot of things that you don't normally endure on a movie set like we did on The Hurt Locker. So we became very, very, very tight, overcoming the obstacles together that we needed to do to get the day done, to move on to the next day.
We already talked about iconic action films when we were talking about Point Break, but 28 weeks later it actually reminded me of another iconic action film, Terminator 2, not just in that it's a sequel that actually improves on the original, but that it's gritty and dangerous and it doesn't pull any punches with tension-deflating humour, the kind of which you see far too often these days. So just how hard is it to be continually playing scared and surprised, which of course is what a horror film demands, but in terms of acting it never gets due credit?
It was the strangest thing because I saw them rehearsing in this warehouse because they had to rehearse all these infected people, and they're all laying on the ground growling and stuff. They didn't have the makeup on or anything, and it's still kind of already bizarre. But you got 100 people running at you. I don't care if they all want to give you a hug or a high five. It's still kind of terrifying and puts you off. So now you get them dripping with blood and them wanting to eat your brains. Well, you know, it's funny though. I mean, because during a break, they'd be sipping on like a latte or something. These contacts in, the blood's dripping off them. But we didn't see a whole lot of them really anyway because we were too busy running. The entire movie we were running.
Well, you did already have action experience with SWAT. So when you were doing 28 weeks, did you have any tips for Rose Byrne when you were running away from all those zombies?
No. What advice can you give, I guess, you know?